When you have an accident like that, that's life-changing, you think, oh, that's the end of your life. Being in this journey now, I just want to try and flip that and change people's mindsets. And what we say sometimes is just to break through those glass ceilings and smash those glass ceilings.
Aloha and welcome to PEP Talk, the podcast for purpose-empowered people. And I am speaking to one right at this minute. Mā roto I fua, lawa whionga, Fonoti Pati Umaga.
Aro laula sunga sui tauloa.
It's great.
Simon, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and it's great to have you on the show. Your name may be familiar with people who are in the music scene, in the arts scene, or in the disability scene. But for those who haven't met you yet, would you just like to introduce yourself and let us know who you are?
Sure, yep. My name is Fonoti Pati Umaga. I'm Samoan, first generation New Zealand born Samoan. My parents are Umanga, Tolona Umanga and Whetei Iriko, who came to New Zealand in the early 50s and settled in Wellington. And so I was born in Wellington, but I was brought up in a little valley called Wainiomata. So I grew up there, and I have two brothers and a sister. And we have many nieces and nephews, and I don't have any children of my own, but I do have 9 godchildren, so big family of godchildren there. But so I brought up in Wainiomata, and I'm still living in the hut, and I'm still working and not retired, but I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit more.
Sure, for sure. And so, when it gets to our sort of age range, the next question is, what do you do? But perhaps what you do now has a bit of a backstory, so perhaps let's, what you used to do and what you do now?
Sure. Back in the early 80s and late 70s, I was working as a youth worker, doing community work, worked for the government, Māori, in the Māori Affairs Department back then, and worked as a community worker working with families and community in regards to doing some basically community work. And then I did some work for the Anglican Social Services in Lower Hutt, the family centre, and worked street kids for a number of years. And then after that, I worked at Whitireia Community Polytechnic in terms of setting up the contemporary music course. I have a background in youth development, community development, and also music. So on the music side, our parents put my brothers and I into piano lessons, but I quickly rebelled and decided I wanted to play guitar and got punished for it, but it was worth it. And then our father, he forced my brothers and I to form a family band, and we were more concentrated on our sporting side of things, and my brother and I in rugby, and my youngest brother in volleyball. But he ended up telling us to make a family band, and we did. We formed the band that, and he wanted the band to play for church, but we ended up doing parades and clubs and dances and quite extensively around Wellington region, and we were called Kabasa back then. And then I ended up being asked to join a band called the Holidaymakers. They were looking for a bass player, and at the time my girlfriend, who I was living with at the time, her friend's partner were looking for a bass player in their band, and so they came in and auditioned me, and I joined, and it ended up being the Holidaymakers, and we had a song, Sweet Lovers, that went number 1 in 1988 for
with
6 weeks.
With a very noticeable bass line, that one.
Well, that was that really was my first time to do my own bass line in a song, because That song wasn't ours. It was actually Bill Withers Bill Withers who did "Lean on Me" and
Ain't No Sunshine.
"No Sunshine," all those kind of songs. That was him, and he had that song, which wasn't as big a hit for him, but our band covered it, and they said, "Look, just think calypso and reggae." And
Yes.
so that's what I did, and then
It's one of those songs that instantly it comes on, the weather feels sunny even if it's raining outside.
yeah, it did really well for us, but it introduced me into the music industry as well. So, and then at the time, I was started up the music course out at Whitirei. It was a contemporary music course. It was the first course, contemporary music course, to be put into a tertiary institution like a polytech. And when I played the video to the students, they kind of gave it a 5 out of 10. And they would go, they say, "Oh, it's okay, not bad." And then then it went to number one. But yeah, so I've had a lot of experience on the music side of things. Own record label in Auckland for a few years. Worked on the Pacifica Festival in terms of project management stuff. And yeah, but I also have another side which is around, at the moment, working for the Crown Response Office, which is looking after the survivors of abuse and care in terms of the recommendations from the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse and Care, the biggest Royal Commission of Inquiry in the country. And also been involved in disability. So in 2005, I had a fall, broke my neck, and I've been in a wheelchair ever since. So it's 20 years.
3 years,
Be
yeah.
my 21st year coming up. May 2026 will be my 21-year anniversary.
Gee, wow.
I managed to utilize my community development side of things and music to transition into the world of disability.
Yeah, and you do a lot of crossover between the creative arts and disability as well. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. So it's I guess with the arts, I've been developing it slowly because I've been trying to record music, to continue recording music. And I actually did a music video that was partly funded by Ministry of Health and ACC at the time. It was called SIVA. And I just wanted to show people that we could, even though we might be physically disabled and our bodies might, be constrained, we could still do things like, enjoy dancing and recreational activities and doing arts stuff. And so I just wanted to write a song about how we as disabled people could actually enjoy all those basic things like dancing, because people seem to think that we can't do that.
Yeah.
So I wrote that song Siva, and it became a music video, and out of that managed to springboard into other music projects as well.
That's cool. Had you thought about disabilities much before your accident?
No, no. So before my accident, yeah, there was a friend that went to school with us back in the day when we were at college, and around about 18 years old, I never saw him again. And I found out later that he jumped off the Petone Wharf with a group of friends. They'd WAG school, and they went out to the beach one day, but they were on the wharf, and he jumped off the wharf and ended up breaking his neck when he landed on the shallow part of the water. And so I didn't see him for a number of years until one day I saw him in the mall, and he was in a wheelchair.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to say to him, and I
Right.
just got a bit self-conscious or embarrassed, and then I actually turned and ignored him and turned around before he could see me and walked the other way. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I had these. I think I had this kind of basic, stereotyping around disabled people, that they're probably not just physically disabled, but probably mentally as well.
Wow. Yeah.
And I didn't know how to kind of broach that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that was a real confrontation in terms of my own ableism, because now we talk about ableist attitudes that are what disabled us, as opposed to the whole environment sort of thing, you know. So, but when I had my accident, and I came back to, I was in the spinal unit in Auckland, and then I was flown back to Wellington to um, basically to a new place to live in. Yeah, while I was here, then the first week I was in, and there was a knock on the door, and my carer opened it, and it was him, Chris.
Wow. No
Yeah,
way.
yeah, and he came in, he started talking to me, and was just kind of helping me through, and wanted to support me, and he'd heard that I'd had my accident, and so he wanted to just come in, and I just kind of, was thought about the irony of
Yes.
previously in my,
Oh my
time
goodness.
walking and walking away from him, and now
And
here
for
he
him to
was in
come
my
see
room.
you must have been quite an effort to get there and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he didn't live that far away, but yeah, it's for him to come around like that, and then he started bringing other guys around who were
So
in chairs as well.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, just to come and say hi and network
Yes.
and be a bit more social about things, because I think he knew the impact of what an accident
Yeah.
uh, creating disability would be like as on a person. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It could be very isolating. So that's awesome that there's been kind of community around you. That's awesome. That actually really leads on to my next question, which is why do you do what you do?
yeah. I think there's a couple of things, but I've always had a back in my college days. I was always looking out for the welfare of others, and I took part in the Waitemata Māori Club, and I had a teacher there, and his name's Moana Jackson, and he's a
Yeah.
well-known Māori academic, and he was my Māori and English teacher, and yeah, I don't know, he saw something in me about leadership, and but he also saw me playing the guitar one time because he was leading the Māori Club, and he saw me playing all the songs that the Māori Club were doing, and he also saw the other guitarist who had put himself forward as a guitarist was struggling to try and play the songs properly. He just went up to that guy and grabbed the guitar off him and put it on in my hands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I ended up being the guitarist for the Kapahaka group. We did a tour of the East Coast, and he also taught me my first whai kōrero. And so when we go onto the marae, then he would get us all, leaders to go up and respond, or to do our whai kōrero. And that was the first time I really got to go around the East Coast and step onto marae and then do my whai kōrero. Yeah.
Almost like you're adopted as a honorary Māori.
Well, I thought I was, and then when you go to do your whai kōrero, and then you go to hongi all the tangata whenua there, and then they say, "Oh, no hairko." I say, "Where you from?" I say, "Oh, Hammo." I say, "Oh, okay."
It's a little bit far from you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. So that's part of your why from very early age was helping others.
yeah, yeah. Helping others, and then I slowly started, um, getting into the area of youth work, because I left Māori Affairs and I did a diploma of youth and community work at the National YMCA. And so for 2 years, your first years, and you're basically in lectures. You're doing attending a physical class, and then the second year you're actually doing a experience, and that's when I started to work for firstly Hutt City Council community development team, and then went over to the Anglican Social Services, and I ended up working there for about 5 years, working with a whole group of young street kids, mainly Pacific Island and Māori, and they were all kind of survivors of like abuse and sexual abuse, and they were also there was addiction and and gangs as well. So it was quite an intense sort of time, but it was at the same time it was I was actually playing in a cabaret, so a resident band in a cabaret in Betoni, and with my band Kabasa, and at the end of the night, any food that was left over, the chef, she was Māori, he says, "Here, take this for your kids." So Saturday night, Friday night, all the kids would, when they hear my car coming up to the house where they were all staying, they know that I was bringing some food in, so help feed them.
That's a lot to deal with, like addictions, abuse, that kind of stuff. Was it ever like intimidating, or were you always drawn to help people who've been through that kind of stuff?
I think there were some moments where were quite intimidating, especially with the gangs when they would come round and start, taking off with some of the young people that were, because we had managed to establish a home where we housed some of the youth there, but they would come round and try and take a couple of them to, be a prospect, or to go and go and hijack some cars and take them. And so,
Appreciation ritual kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And so, but I think the more intimidating thing was just trying to deal with police and social workers from the
interesting.
social welfare department, because they have they just wanted to punish them, and we're trying to educate them on their rights, and just kind of making sure that we're letting them know that we're looking after those young people. But
Yeah,
yeah, so you had different kinds of, as you say, intimidation. There was the street one, and then there was the kind of political
political,
stuff.
legal system.
Yeah, the legal kind of, the standard kind of government department approaches that just want to just lock them away, and yeah.
So it sounds like quite a community that you built in there, that you guys had each other.
Yes, yes. Well, I think that was when I realised that I was really quite strong on relationships, and they were quite key for me in terms of how I engaged with those young people, because they could see that the relationship for them was a lot stronger, meant more for them than the actual kind of me being a youth worker
Yes.
coming in to provide them with a service.
Yeah, that's right. A
Mm.
service with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
That's right, and you do things this way. Here's the process. So, but no, it's you had to kind of have some empathy, and you got to be able to realise that you're going to be spending quite a bit of your own money buying food, and just paying for things. And so yeah, it was breakdancing was quite a popular
Yes, this
form
was
of.
the 80s, right?
Yeah, yeah. So everyone had those big ghetto blasters they were carrying on their shoulders, and they had their,
Baggy pants.
the baggy pants, and then the huge pieces of cardboard that they would roll up, and then when they go to do their breakdancing, they would roll it out onto the concrete and challenge. Go into Wellington City and challenge the other breakdancers as well to come and have a go, and yeah,
The poor man's yoga mat.
yeah, yeah, it is, yeah.
That's full on. If I remember rightly, your dad is a minister, pastor. Is that right?
No, no, no. He was a lay preacher,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
yeah, he was going to become a pastor, but he wanted me to be the preacher, to be
Okay.
the pastor. Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
that was his
interesting.
goal. Was as the oldest, he wanted me to be a minister or a lawyer or a doctor, and I
Wow.
think in that order.
So all these prestigious kind of things, but you were like, I just want to help people where they
Yeah,
are. It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. That's right. Well, in the 80s too, I got involved in like the kind of a lot of activism
Yes.
stuff with
There
a
was a
group
lot
of
to go
other.
around, and well, there's a lot to go around now too. But
Yeah, there was. We were involved in the Springbok tour,
yeah,
protest movement. We were supporting Māori with the Māori sovereignty and Tino Rangatiratanga activities, and we were even active with the Samoa citizenship bill that was pushed through by the Muldoon government back in '83. And so You know, I ended up spray painting the Lower Hutt post office, stop the citizenship bill
Oh, okay.
and all the big red letters and
That's the
yeah.
bill that just got repealed last year.
Yes,
Yeah, wow.
yes, that's the one. Yep,
Man, that's
yep.
a long time between
That's right.
yeah.
Yep. So it was um, because I got to meet the lawyer George Rosenberg, who took the woman Falesa or Lesa and took her to the Privy Council to put their case forward for that really got that bill pushed through and it was just so quick how the Muldoon government quickly went into session and repealed that bill. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was some hard case times back then, but we were really involved with our local community, our Samoan Advisory Council. There was the Pacific Island Resource Centre, and we had a lot of the older people who would tell us off for being too, I guess, too direct and being too active in terms of wanting to do things in a really physical way in terms of, marches and graffitiing and,
The
all that
Samoan
kind of
culture
stuff.
is quite polite and restrained in a lot of ways, eh?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But we also had our band and we would start playing music that was related to, Nelson Mandela, and we would
Yes.
play reggae songs and songs
Yes.
about stand up for your rights. And we would play some of them at the church socials. So we get the looks, we would start doing that. And yeah, our band, individually, a few of us, some of the members of our band were active in that whole kind of protest movement back then.
That's so cool. So how does your sense of purpose, how does that give you power in your day-to-day life? Because as I sort of said, some of the things that you did and that you do today is not easy. It's not the most comfortable thing to do or not the easiest thing to do, but
Mm.
you're drawn towards it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess one of the things for me is family. My parents, they really wanted the best for us, and we never really appreciated it back then as young kids, especially growing up in Aotearoa, New Zealand. The culture clash that you had with your parents was huge. So I was quite rebellious. I was like the black sheep of the family because I didn't want to do what my parents wanted, especially my dad. And so, in terms of where I am now, and I look back to what he stood for, I realize, with my brother and I, we now realize that we kind of regret not being part of that journey that he wanted us to be in, especially for our culture. So, not really strong on the language or the cultural or the culture itself, because he wanted me to come with him to all these what we call the whakalavelave, that's all those things where the family need to go and support families who do weddings or funerals or all
Totally.
that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to, and so in the end, I would just go and do my own thing. I used to run away from home, and and yeah, and hung out with some gangs and back in the day, and so all those kind of things were quite. I guess it was just my wanted to state that I didn't want to be what my dad wanted me to be. And mum, she was like the gentle side because she could see both sides, so she was always trying to mediate between us. But
Yeah.
dad ended up blaming her for everything that went wrong with the kids.
Right. They're your kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your fault. But I think now when we look back at it, my brother and I realised that Dad was trying to provide a legacy for us, and we wanted to try and honour that. We both have taken titles, chiefly titles, and Matai title, and so I got the Fonoti
Which is a very,
title.
very high title, isn't it? It's one of the right up.
Yes, yeah, it is. It is, especially from the Whangaroa region and from the village of Salimu. And I actually went over there, wheelchair and all, to do the salfai.
How was
And
that? 'Cause they can last a long time, many hours, these ceremonies, eh?
Yeah, well, it was okay that I could sit in my chair. You know, that actually they let the wheelchair come into the whale, you know. So, and then looked around and our main chief, Talamei Vao, who was leading the whole Salfai, he
Yeah.
was in a wheelchair as well.
Wow. Oh, no way.
Um, yeah, he was, and I took a little portable ramp
Yeah.
that you can fold over and allow the chairs to get in. So I was able to do that, and
Nice.
he used it as well. And then while we were sitting there, some groups of other disabled people started coming up. You know, there are people with cerebral palsy, and they were on walking sticks, or they were using crutches, and some were a couple of limbs missing, amputated, and they were just looking at me like, "Oh, there's another disabled guy here." And but my brother took our dad's title of Umanga, and so from the village of Laulumwenga, and so that was another high title as well. That was our way, I guess, of acknowledging mum and dad,
Yes.
really to let them know that we want to try, and we didn't want their legacy to end with our generation.
Were they
And
still alive to see yourself, Hawaii?
sorry?
Were your mum and dad still alive to see yourself,
Oh
Hawaii?
no, they passed. They passed by then. Yeah, so mum and I think mum had passed 2013,
Okay.
and dad in 2011, and yeah, we did our Safari in 2016.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Ah, but the legacy continues, eh?
Yeah. Well, dad was one thing I did admire about my dad when growing up was the way he could his leadership style,
Totally.
and he could be really staunch and stand by what he says and be quite forceful and push his argument as an orator,
Yeah.
and then especially with others that are around, and then he could just as quickly make them laugh, crack a
Nice.
joke, and then they would all kind of just laugh out loud, and then when they had the kirikiti tournament and they would all get together and have their groups kind of jousting each other and teasing each other with song and dance, and then he would get up there and be the leader of the group and lead them with the song, and it was really good to see, and I guess too the way he wanted us to do music was
Yeah.
another purpose for me, and so in a way, because of his forcing us to do that, it actually gave us the purpose for how we could utilize music and how we could utilize the culture and how we can utilize our own leadership to really, I guess, provide that for the people that are around us and our community.
Yeah, nice, nice. That's really cool. And speaking of your more recent work, especially in the disability and the arts area,
Mm,
you're due to be on stages in the Aotearoa New Zealand Festival of the Arts. Can you
yes.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Look, I wrote a song and with my sister, my brother, and one of our cousin's husband, and we wrote a song in the Samoan language, and it's a song called PEP, and it's about, uh, I guess, it was about disability and challenging stereotypes and attitudes, and breaking down walls, and that song basically ended up being performed live at the Kia Mau Festival, which is a biannual festival in Wellington that really supports Māori and Pacific artists to have a forum where they could, for 2 weeks, they could perform their artwork. And I managed to talk with the organisers of it, and I suggested to them that I could get together this song and have a live performance of it and have two other artists who are disabled to be performing as well. And so they agreed to it, and that was the first time the Kia Mau had a a disability-focused performance in their festival. And we held it at Massey University in their studio, and Lucy Favour, who was one of the artists performing, she's a wheelchair dancer, and she's non-verbal in the sense that she communicates via her computer or through text. And so she did a Samoan Siva and did a real strong performance. And then Rodney Bell, who's Maori, and he's a wheelchair dancer as well, and he also does aerial dancing, going up on the wires and
Wow.
just spinning around and doing dance moves there with another dance partner as well. So he didn't do that in the studio, but he did do a performance with someone else, and so everyone really enjoyed it. And then I ended up talking with a woman producer, Sasha Gibb, and we had coffee, and I was telling her about my aim to want to be able to do, I guess like a production of artists that could come, that could perform to a level of like at a festival. And so she got together some people, or she said, look, I'd love to produce a show like that. And we met up with Nathaniel Lees, who's a very well-known actor, director, Samoan. And he was also a good friend of mine, and we'd lost touch after my accident.
Nice.
But we connected again, and he really wanted to direct something. And so as I was telling the story, I was saying, look, I want this story to be about these other disabled people who have helped me to get through all my kind of dark years after my accident, because I saw that I was 46 when I had my accident. And then suddenly I'm dealing with people who have had their accident for life or much longer than myself. And so I was trying to piece together what this looked like to Nathaniel. And then Nathaniel turned around and said to me, no, that's not the story, Pati. The story is you. And I went, no, the story is you. And it's about your star map of connecting with all these other people in your life that have allowed you to come in and to influence in some way or to support some way. And so this journey is quite unique because you came from a time where you were able-bodied, now you're disabled, but you're doing all, and I just said, oh my gosh, it's been over 2 years in the making. Started off with just the three of us. We're in a workshop for a day and try and develop the story. And then, we managed to get it to a workshop stage and show it to some people. And, got the feedback that, but you need a writer. You need a writer to write the thing. And so we ended up having Oscar Kitely.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So he's the writer, and he's another friend I used to hang out with, and then we lost touch, like with Nathaniel after my accident. But when he found out what I was doing, he said, "But if you need a writer."
Oh, perfect.
So,
Yeah. And so it's titled Music Portrait of a Humble Disabled Samoan. We can tell your humility even in the title.
Well, that was just a tongue-in-cheek for the draft,
Yeah.
for the mirror of the play, and so. But I said, oh no, I'm just a poor, humble, disabled Samoan, because that's what I would always say when someone would give me a compliment.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just a poor, humble, disabled Samoan.
Now it's the title.
Now it's the title, and they said, oh, it's too long. And I just said, that's what I got the feedback, oh, the title's too long. And said, oh, well, just drop the poor. And that's what they call it.
That's one
Music
word. That was all you
of
could.
a humble, disabled Samoan, but
Oh,
I definitely didn't think that was going to be the name of it.
that's amazing. So that's cool. That's coming up in March.
Yes, yeah. So we'll be March the 5th to the 8th up in Auckland Arts Festival, and then the 12th to the 15th down here in Wellington.
Amazing. Oh, that is definitely something worth checking out. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And looking at your publicity photo here, you got some very cool shades. You got your ulapalo as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks like it'll be a good
Well,
looking show.
I wanted the color purple in there because that was the color of the mau, and
Yeah.
that was the other thing around the purpose for music is my granddad, Dad's father. He's involved in the mau movement back in the late 20s and was on the march that fateful day when the New Zealand police shot on the peaceful protest march and killed Tamasesere Alofi III. And granddad composed a song around that called Besi Ole Mau. And so uh, I wanted to acknowledge that because I know that from Dad's side of the thing, Dad's side with the music, that it would have been from Granddad as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, because Dad was telling me the story that the day that they got shot by the New Zealand police, Granddad came running back to the village and told my dad to hide him because the police were looking for them to hunt them down and
Yeah, yeah.
so hid them in the hills. And Dad said that there was a plane going around with a machine gun shooting at people.
My goodness.
I looked at my dad and I went, dude, no plane in Samoa in the late 20s, gosh. And then I read Michael Field's book, Mau.
Yep.
He's got photographs of a tiger moth playing with a machine gun back in the
Oh, he
spotlight.
was telling the truth all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. But oh my gosh, but yeah, so he wrote the Pesole Mau, and we've done a re-recording of the song with
Oh,
my family, and yeah, so it's all these kind of things that are happening. That's kind of just keep fitting in with each other in the way my journey keeps progressing through the arts. So having recorded the song and then recording other songs, so I've got an album's worth of songs that we're looking to release, but the Pepe Better song is something that's going to be released as well as a single, a music video,
awesome.
and got some animation in there. It's got a couple of artists in there that's quite well known. Ben Marchesi, the opera singer, he's singing in it, and so it's a bit of like an electronic type dance type song,
Wow.
and my friend Jacob Lua Manawai, who works for Weta Digital as a 3D animator, and yeah, he's worked on all the main movies and Marvel movies and Lord of the Rings stuff, and he just yeah, he's the director for the video itself. Yeah.
Wow. Nathaniel was right. You have created this amazing star map, drawing all these people into this awesome web.
Yeah, yeah, it's been quite a journey, and I'm just kind of amazed at how things have progressed and what's happened and the amount of people that have come through and you've touched and they've touched you in ways as well, and so it's always reciprocal. And I think I'm really grateful to have two young leaders, wheelchair women that I've been mentoring over the past few years, and one of them was in my music video, Siva, and now they're performing alongside me in the play itself. Yeah. And so they're just over the moon because they get to meet people like Oscar who they've always known about.
Stars
But
of the silver screen kind of thing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And to be involved at a festival level when they're just so used to, because they have their own dance group with others, but they perform for like events or functions, but to come and perform at a festival, it's just a real journey for them. Yeah, so I'm quite rapt about that.
Fantastic. If somebody's sort of looking at their life, thinking a young person, but actually a person of any age, and they're trying to figure out what to do, like how to move with purpose or how to get direction in their life, what would you kind of say to them?
Um, what I would say is, and I know it's almost cliche, is to keep going and to really, if they could find people who are leaders themselves, especially looking within their families and friends. It's about finding your why. And I know that it's a big journey for a lot of our young people this generation. It's and I see it's quite different now. There's a lot different pressures that are on young people, especially around social media, especially around the pressures around image, and just even the way how we look at our own people and our own culture. And all I want to say is that I myself went through some dark years, but it was about knowing that there's always has to be a light at the end of a tunnel, and sometimes the closer you get to your goals and your achieving your ambitions, the harder it gets.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and I've been lucky, I guess, in a way that I've had other people who can help guide me and help break me out of that whole kind of self-piteous, drowning kind of journey that I was putting myself through not long after my accident. Because, when you have an accident like that, that's life-changing, you think, oh, that's the end of your life. You might as well have been killed, because, you can't do anything now. You're not, you're not independent anymore, and all the things you could do, you can't do anymore, and it's embarrassing for me to be seen out in public now because I was just too so what Māori call whakamā. And so that's all part of that whole kind of attitude about what it is about being disabled.
Yes.
And being in this journey now, I just want to try and flip that and change people's mindsets. And what we say sometimes is just to break through those glass ceilings, smash those glass ceilings.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Awhionga, Fonoti Pati Umaga, for being with us.
Yeah. Appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the talanoa.
Thank you so much for watching PEP Talk. This is for you if you're a purpose-empowered person. If you've got a purpose that is inside you trying to get out into the world, whether it's through running a business or running a charity or running a side hustle, whatever it is, we are here to help you. Check us out. We're at www.pep.nz, pep.nz. We would love to hear from you if you have a purpose that you want to bring into reality. We'll see you on the next episode.